This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. Whenever you load the data to the data warehouse, we're going to be performing incremental loading to the dimension tables, full loading to the fact tables. The real important question is that why? Why full loading or partial loading is given to the fact table? Why not incremental loading to the fact table? Clear? So this is very important thing that we have to understand. Why full loading, or we'll say partial loading? So full loading, we can also use partial loading to the factor table, but not incremental loading. Let us understand what is the difference between partial loading and incremental loading also. Clear? So let me take one real-time case study. Let us talk about Amazon company. Okay, so Amazon company has a OLTP. So OLTP database, okay, Amazon. So just like a TARDIS, right? So here we have a customer table. So customers are the guys who's going to be buying the product. Customer ID, customer name, and customer city. So this is one customer table. I will be having customer one, let us say John from city called Hyderabad. Customer number two, let us say Kiran from Bangalore. Clear? So you may have the phone number as well as some address. Lot of things will be there, right? So your city, address, phone number. Your phone number would be 90000, some phone number. So here uh, some phone numbers are given. Clear? So make sure that you have 10 numbers. So clear. So there is a phone number and you have a product table because each guy has to buy a product. So we are going to be having one more table called product ID, product name, product price, and what is the quantity in the hand. Product ID, let us say 10. Let us have pens. Price is 10 bucks. Quantity, we have this much. Product number two, we have pencils and the price is this much and we have this much of stock. And we have Dove soaps and the price is this much. We have these many soaps are available like that. So there is a big product table is available. Now we have a sales table, right? So there is a sales table. So in that, who's the customer and what is the product and the quantity and what is the sales amount, how much they paid and the date of sales. So this is a one more table we have. So customer ID, let us say number one, John, and bought pencil 20. Quantity he bought 5 and 5 and each pencil is 6. 5 into 6, 30 bucks is the sales amount. Date of sales is let us say 2020 or let us say 2019 December 22. That is date of sales. So like that, customer number 2 and he bought Dove soaps. Okay, only one Dove soap he bought it. So he paid 66 bucks on the same day or a different day. So let us say on 25th. Like that, we have some data. This is my OLTP database. You can say this is your TARDIS database. Now, when you create a data warehouse database, what will you do? You're going to be creating, there is a Amazon DW, right? So that is what you're going to be doing, Amazon DW database. And this table will become dim customer table. This is the first table, right? This table is called as a dim customer table. Now, product table will be called as a dim product table, right? So like that, you're going to be creating a lot of them. Then this sales table is called as a fact sales table, right? So the sales table is called as a fact sales table. What is the dimension? What is the fact? Already you know it. Now we load the complete data here. So we perform a SSS package. It is loaded the data and we have created one more SSS package. It is also loaded the data. We have created one more SSS package. It is also loaded the data. Clear? So this is how we would have created a lot of packages, 3 packages. It is loading the data like this. There is no issue at all. But tomorrow, in these 2 tables, what happens? You will have one more customer may come. So one more customer called Salman may come from, let us say, Hyderabad city, some number. Okay. So now he is, Kiran is transferred or is moved or is updated his mobile number. So there is an insert is going to happen here, and there is also update can happen, and there also delete also can happen. Clear? So I go to insert. So this has got inserted, and his mobile number is changed. Now the mobile number is something like this. Okay, something like this insert happened, update, or you can also delete some row here. You can also delete if you wanted to have. So in the dimension table, insert can happen, update can happen, delete can happen, right? So the inserted data has to come. You have to compare this table, and you need to compare this table and no match data. So no match data will be this data. So the data will get inserted, matched data, and we're comparing and we're updating it here, blah, blah, blah. So this is where incremental loading can be done for this package. So SSS package will be there for this, but incremental loading we are going to be doing for this. Okay, that's fine. Already you know this. I need not tell you. And for the product table also, what all things happen? Again, for this table, you may insert the new products, you may update the new products, you may delete the existing products. Clear? The pen cost is increased to 11. So what happens? You would like to have, so whenever you would like to update, it has to be updated. Clear? You may have new product is launched. Let us say rinse soap is also introduced here. So the cost is this much, and we have this much. So this need to be loaded. So you need to have a incremental loading to be done for this table as well. Already you know. Clear? So why are we performing incremental loading? Because customer table and products table are dimension tables, and these are going to be having less data compared to sales table, right? So tell me how many customers you have in Amazon.com? Maybe 1 million data, 10 million data, 20 million data, some data. It is fixed amount of data, right? If you have 1 million data, 1 million customers are available. So what are the products Amazon companies having? It may be selling 20,000, 30,000, or 40,000 maximum products, not more than that. So customers also, a daily you will not get 1 million new customers. Daily you don't get 1 million new products, right? But daily you will see 50 million sales. See, so the first day one, the sales will be 50 million rows. The second day, the sales will be again 50 million data. The third day also, that the sales will be 30 million data. That means, so which tables the data is more clear? You need to understand this point very, very clearly. So if I create OLTP database and I'm using ETL, and this is my data warehousing database. This is a fat one. So OLTP database always is a thin one. So this is your Amazon database. Clear? And this is what is called your Amazon DW database. If you see the table, first table is a customer table. The second table will be a product table, but you have a sales table that is very, very big table, because every day you're getting 50 million records. You may be getting, let us say 10 million data or 1 million records. So next day, the new customers may be 10% or 20% customers, but you don't get 1 million customers every day, right? So you have registered in the Amazon.com today. Tomorrow, you don't register. You only buy, right? So the customer table already have 1 million data. Tomorrow, you may get another 5% or 2% or 3%, not more than. Okay. Now, 1 million means 10 lakhs. Now, this is a product data. How many products they are selling? Maybe some 20,000 products, not more than that. So tomorrow they may had some 2 to 3% changes or some 5% changes, not more than that. But if you see the sales table, the day one, there may be 50 million rows. Day two, there is 60 million data or 50 million data again. That means what? Every day, 100% records is going to come. That means what? If you see OLTP tables, in which tables the data is more? Not in the dimension tables. Customer table, product table are called a master table or a dimension table. This is a sales table will be treated as a dimension table. So what normally we're going to be doing? We're going to be creating one more tables here. So this table is called as a dim customer table. Okay. And this is what is called dim product table. Now let us say this is what is the a bigger table called sales table. We are also going to creating as a fact table. Now maximum you will get a 2%, 3%, 4% when you run SSS packages in between. So what is going to be happening? You take the data from the customers table, you'll go and map, and the matching data will be updated, unmatched data will get inserted. You may have 1 million data or half million data, or you may have 10,000, 1 lakh, whatever it is. So it is going to be comparing and performing the incremental loading, because in the dimension tables we have insert and update. So you're performing incremental loading here, and here also you're going to perform incremental loading. You're able to get the data, that is also fine. Okay, but if you have a 50 million data today, and the next day when you get the 50 million data, and the third day you're getting 50 million data, so this data, what will happen? So this hard disk size may be, they may be having a 1 terabyte of hard disk. Clear? These dimension tables are maybe be occupying, let us say 100 GB of data. So this may be occupying some 70 GB of data. Okay, this may be occupying some 30 GB of data, and remaining 700 or 800 GB. Okay, 800 GB of data occupied by the single table only. Clear? So as of now, we have 1 terabyte of hard disk. So 100 GB is 800 GB is 900 GB is occupied already within a month's time. Now what you do? So you take this data, remember, so you have started the business in January 2020. So you have 1 million records. This is the data you got it. So again in the February, you got 2020 data. Again, you have March 2020 data. Like that, every month you're getting 50 million records, 50 million records, 50 million records. Like that, you may have a 3 or 4 months data. With this hard disk is full. Only 6 months data or only 3 months data, this hard disk is full. What you do? So you cannot increase the more and more space here. If you increase the more space, then it is gone. Clear? So with the 6 months data or 5 months data, completely 800 GB is occupied. It is 100 GB occupied. Completely almost 900 GB is gone, and only 100 GB is there. So you have already, so in these two tables, you have 100 GB, and this hard disk of this may be having 20 terabytes or 100 terabytes of hard disk. It is a very bigger hard disk you're having. So what will happen? Every month you're having, so you got here, let us say 6 months only you're loading the data. Once in a 6 months you're loading the data, the first, some data you should be able to get it here. Okay, some data you got it here. So this data is 800 GB of data you loaded. Okay, 800 GB of data you loaded, already 100 GB is there. So if you, after loading it, what will you do here? Can you delete the data of the customer table? You cannot delete. If you delete the data of the customer table, you cannot go to Amazon.com and say, I am Bhaskar Jogi, I would like to buy a product. So the Amazon.com will not recognize Bhaskar Jogi. So in OLTP, the dimension table data, the customer data will not get deleted. The product data also will not get deleted if they delete the product data, because the Amazon.com site is always talking to OLTP database. So when I log into the Amazon.com, it is recognizing me as a Bhaskar. I give my mail ID, I give my phone number, and all the products also it is showing from this table only. Which table? Product table. So OLTP database will have this. Clear? So it is going to be showing this. But what about this? It is not going to display your sales data. It is not going to be displaying your sales data anywhere, right? So when you go to Amazon.com, you cannot get it. So what we can do, I have already exhausted it within 6 months or 5 months, the complete the space of the database. So I have loaded the complete data here once in a 6 months. So what should I do? After loading the data, the choice, you can delete the complete data here. Complete data you can delete. Clear? That means it will become a 0 GB. Clear? Because you will have the data. Now it is 900 GB. 900 GB, it is now became 100 GB as it is. Why? Because 100 GB of what? So here 30 GB of data customers and 30 GB, 70 GB, 30 GB, 100 GB now, 900 GB is the free. So what you have done, you have taken all the data from here, you have loaded, full loading. So after loading, you have deleted this. Again, you will get 50 million data or 45 million data the next month. Again, you will get 50 million data. Again, you will get some 50 million data. Like that, you're getting the data. So you're not going to leave any data here, because if you load the data, if you load this data here, okay, after loading it, if you delete it, if you delete it, what happens? If you delete it, so you may get the new records here. If you get the new records, no need of having any kind of incremental loading, because new data you are going to be getting it here. So that take the complete data and you copy and paste it, because you're not having any old data here. So that is not going to be happening in this case. In this case, clear? So in the customer table and product table, we never delete any data. But in the sales table, we always take the data and we delete the data here. Clear? And remember one more point, in this table, we never update the data. Remember, we always insert the data. For example, you, this guy purchased 5 quantity. What is the 5? 5 to 20 is pencils. Tomorrow he wanted to return all the products. He would like to get the amount. So do you think that they will be modifying this row? No, they don't. Or you wanted to return 2 products. What will happen? They will be taking the same row and they will be having it here, and they'll say -2, and each product 20 is the pencil, so -12 is the done. So when it is done, it is done on the 28th. Clear? So you will not be able to update, only insert. Remember, but you may update the phone number, you may insert the data here, but in the fact tables, you never update the data. You never delete the data like this. Clear? You always insert the data. You insert the data. After inserting only, after inserting, what you do, you take the complete data here, and the complete data is going to go there. Once the data is loaded, once the data is loaded from here to here, so if a data is loaded here to here, what is that we're going to be doing? We're going to be doing, because I don't have any space, because completed is occupied. I don't have any space. I have to delete this data only. So we are going to be deleting the data here. Clear? So now you have, again, the new sales is going to be coming. So new sales is going to come. Say Salman is the new customer, is bought this product 40 and the quantity 20. Each one is 20 into blah 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 some amount, and date of sales is, it is sales is happened on the, let us say 21st first and 2020. Clear? Like that, we are going to be getting the data like this. Clear? So always, why are we deleting the data? Deleting the data, if you don't delete the data, OLTP size will increase. 6 months only you can keep the data. You may be dumping once in a 6 months, but after that, what you should do? You have to dump it and delete the data. And again, what you have to do, you have to clean the space here. If you don't clean the space here, the next sales cannot happen because OLTP always will be in the GBs only, even though we're getting the data. So once it is full, we are going to be loading the data. So it may be full in 1 month's time, maybe full in 6 months' time, maybe full in 1 week time. So we don't know. So that is how we are going to be performing only the full loading, even though if you think that if you wanted to perform incremental loading, you think I would like to perform incremental loading. To perform incremental loading, you should have a primary key. Now, the first thing, do you have a primary key here? You have a primary key? Yes. There is a primary key? Yes. Any primary key is available in this? There is no primary key is available. If there is no primary key available, you cannot perform incremental loading. So whatever be the reason, you have a primary key as well. Whatever be the reason, you have a primary key. Let us say bill number. So there is a bill number one, bill number two, like that. You are getting some numbers like this. Clear? So there is a bill number that is the primary key here. So that is also there. So bill number one, bill number two, bill number three. Even though you get the data, the next will be bill number four. Okay, not here, right? So this is my bill numbers are going to come. Now the next bill number will be 4. This is the primary key. Okay. So even though it is a primary key, still you cannot perform incremental loading. Why? I'll tell you. When you go here, so every month you are dumping millions of data here. And again, you have approximately 50 million, 50 million, 200 million data already you have got it, and 200 million data you have it, and this is, let us talk about 5 years data. Let us say this is another 1,000 million rows. Okay, now if you want to perform incremental loading, you take one row and go and look for the existing matching data. You take one row here, and you get, for example, you take one and you go here and verify whether one exists or not. Incremental loading is like that. So always you take this table and you go to the destination table and you cross check whether do we have one? Yes, we have one. Do we have two? Yes, we have two. Do you have three? Yes, we have three. These dimension tables will not be having more data. It is having some data. After that, it is not going to grow. So how, if you wanted to take this value and if you wanted to compare with these values, it is easy because you have a limited data. But if you go to this table, last 10 years of data will be billions and trillions data. You cannot take one row and cannot compare, do we have a 4 year or not? So this is a big amount of data you have it, and you wanted to compare with this. The comparison will fail. The comparison will fail because these two tables are very big in size. So very big in size. You cannot take one row and go here and check, do we have four there? Do we have four there? Can you verify like that? You can verify if the size is very, very small. If the size is very, very big, take one row and you cannot go to fact sales table and you cannot compare. So to perform the incremental loading, you need to use the destination table and compare with the source data. Clear? So the comparison cannot happen very, very easily for the fact table. The reason is the fact table sizes are very, very big. If we have very big, nobody can take one row by row comparison from this table to this table. Cannot happen. They'll go mad. So it will stuck. If you wanted to perform incremental loading, first the fact table should have a primary key. There is a primary key. Then if you wanted to perform incremental loading, always you take the destination table, you read one row from here and match. The matching operation is very, very costly because you have unlimited data in the fact table, and you have 200 million data. You may be having 2,000 million data. Comparing one row with the 2,000 million data is impossible. Your SSIS package will fail. Clear? So incremental loading is very, very problematic. But how do I do? For example, sometimes what happens is that every month every month we are getting the data. 25 million data we got it January, and you know February we got this. So what we are doing, monthly we are loading the data, not yearly. You think like this. So first month we got 50 GB of data. We have 50 million data we got loaded. It is month of Jan. Okay, 2020. So then February 50 million data is happened. Again, you have loaded 50 million data. You did not delete. But how do you load the second month data if you are not performing incremental loading? So here what we can do, we can have a date column here. See this, there is a date column. With the help of a date column, I can get monthly data. So after this data, so we'll have January data. So how can we get last month data? So we can get the last month data with the help of this query. We can write the query like this. Select star from the, let us say, let me go to Amazon, okay? We have Amazon database. There is a sales table, I have it. So there's a sales table is available. So in that, I would like to take the last month data or current month data. What is the query we can write? Where? So there is compulsorily a date field will be there. Copy and paste. Last month data, I wanted to get it because every month, every month first, I'll be loading the last month data. For example, so if I'm loading, February data, February data will get loaded on the March 1st. Clear? And January data will get loaded on the February 1st. Clear? So that is how I'm loading the data, but I'm not deleting anything because customer wanted to keep at least 6 months data here, or at least 4 months data. You have loaded 3 months data like this, and but you are not deleting any data. You have Jan data, Feb data, March data. But how can I get only Jan data? How can I get only Feb data? So without performing any incremental loading, you will have definitely one last month data. If you wanted to get it, you can use date diff, okay, comma this, and get a date is equivalent to 0. 0 means current month data. Remember this. 0 means you have to get the current month data. Get the date. I don't have any data, so this is the current month data. Last month data means 1. Clear? So you have to say, you have to write this. For example, today the date is July 29th. Clear? And 2020. So what happens? So after July 31st, right? Then you will be able to get August 1st, 2020. So August 1st, I have to load the previous month data. The current month, when I go to August 1st, current month will be 0. I have to put like this. Clear? So if I put, I will be able to get the August data. August data only 1 day. But if I come to August, if I say 1, I will be able to get the only 1 month old data, means I'm going to be getting July data. Clear? So even though you may be having July data, you may be having June data, you may be having May data, you may be having April data. So a lot of data is available in the fact table, but I wanted to take last month data and load it to the destination. So I will be able to use one date sales table, or delivery date, some date column will be there. So using that, we should be able to load the last month data. We are not comparing. We are not comparing anything. Simply we are going here and filtering. This is what is called a partial loading. We are not completely putting complete data and deleting in the source table. We have a lot of data, Jan data, Feb data, March, April, May, June data is available, but we are not. So what we are doing, we are not deleting any data. Why? The Amazon database, Amazon company wanted to have 6 months data. So they have Jan data, they have Feb data, they have March data, they have April and May and June. Clear? And July data is going to go very soon. So this data is gone to the data where always already it has gone. Clear? But they don't want to delete the data because the company wanted to maintain 6 months data. But how do you take only 1 month data and do it? So in the Amazon sales table, in the fact table, you will have compulsory a date column. So you take the date column, take 1 month's data, and you should be able to put it here. So next month, when the August starts, I'll be taking the July data also. July data is also over here. The July data also, I should be able to load it here. So after loading it, so you have 7 months data, but company wanted to maintain only 6 months data here. So they will delete 1 month data here. They will delete 1 month data. So now you have July data is loaded on the August 1st. So August is also over completely. August data will get loaded on the September 1st or September 2nd. So you get the August data. So when you load the August data, this data will get deleted. So the source data, the source sales table is always maintaining 6 months data, and you are loading the sales table, not here full loading. Here you're using a partial loading. It is not full loading, partial loading. So, but it is not incremental loading. Incremental loading means what? You have to take the sales table data and use the fact sales table, and you have to use the factor table for the matching purpose. So I am not using anything, and I'm taking simply the last month data with the help of this query. With the help of this query, I'm able to get the previous month data, and I'm going to be loading it here. Clear? So I'm not comparing the source table data with the fact, sales table. So I'm not doing. So I'm not comparing. So if you compare and get the unmatched data, that is what is called incremental loading. But here, what I'm doing, every time I'm loading a monthly data, I'm not deleting here. Okay. So I may be getting current month data, I'm loading it here. I'm deleting the previous month data. But how do I get the last month data? So to get the last month data, compulsorily the fact tables will have a date and time columns. Okay. Using that, you can write and get the previous month data. If you wanted to include, if you wanted to include a partial loading to the factor table, either full loading. If you're doing a full loading, remember you need to delete the data. If you're doing a full loading, this data you should not leave anything. Remember, you need to clean this. Again, you do the full loading. But if you wanted to maintain some data in the source table, then definitely you go in for the partial loading, but not incremental loading. Clear? Partial loading, you're going to go every month. You are simply writing this kind of a query, and you should be able to get only you know the current month data or the previous month data, and when the SSS package executes, it is going to be giving the last month data only. It is not going to touch the previous month data. This is what is called partial loading. Again, after August, July comes. When the July, the same query again runs. So then after August, you're in the September. In the September first, when you run, you will be able to get the August data. When you run in October, you get the September data. So this query will not change. Every month, first or second, you're going to be running this query. It is going to go and get the previous month data, so that you don't get the duplicate data at all. Clear? So because I told you, right? So here there is no updates. Nobody is going to be updating it. Nobody is going to be updating in these tables. Always it's inserts only, inserts only. Already you got the data till this point or till last month. Clear? So I have to get the data from the current month. Current month data will be going in the next month first only. Clear? So like that, using the date columns, people are going to be performing partial loading, or people may be performing a full loading. If you're performing a full loading, what you need to do, you have to take this data, dump it here, and you delete the data. You means not you. We are developers. We are simply performing full loading or delta loading, or what is called partial loading. But we are not going to go here and delete the data. Who's going to be deleting? DBA people who are maintaining the production service. Those people, they know the data is gone. They will count the data, and they take a backup of the completed database, then they delete the data. If something goes wrong, they cannot say data warehouse people have already taken the data, we have deleted. No. So the complete servers backup are taken, and the DBA team only in charge of deleting the data in the sales tables, in the fact tables. Clear? So this is the reason why we never ever go for the full incremental loading. Incremental loading means comparing the source data with the destination table data row by row. That cannot happen because of the size of the factor table. Clear? That is the reason. And in the factor tables, in the sales table, you don't have any updates at all. No updates will be there, only insert. You go to the bank, you say that you wanted to take, 10,000 cash, but ATM did not give the cash. What happens? There is an insert. There is a withdrawal transaction would have been happened. Immediately there is a credit transaction also can happen, right? So there is a withdrawal and there is a credit. Debit and credit transactions will be there. So the amount you did not get it. There is a problem of ATM machine. The cash, the currency notes did not come out. So what happens? There is a credit and there is a debit and credit will happen, but they don't, modify anything. Always fact tables or transactional tables will have only insets. Nobody is going to be updating the data there. Remember this point. So updates, inserts, deletes can happen only to the dimension tables. Clear? You may update your address. You may update your phone number. Clear? So there may be update or the new customers are going to register. There is a new insert. Clear? But in the fact tables, in the transactional tables, only customers are buying the products or they may be canceling the products. I don't want to buy the product. I would like to return. There is a 30 days return policy. You can return the policy. What happens? There is a credit and debit. The two rows will be happening, but they're not going to be, updating anything here. So they don't say that you have given initially there were five quantity. You have given three, and they don't update the two. Clear? So that is not going to happen there. Clear? You will have a 5 as a sales and return is a 2 minus 2 plus 2, something like this. You will be able to get one more. So in the transactional tables, we never ever get updates. Only inserts will be there. So no need of talking about here updates also. Only insert. Take the data and insert. So how? Simply take this data, last month data, and insert it. Clear? So that is the reason why people wanted to maintain or people will perform full loading to the factor table or partial loading to the factor table, but not incremental loading. If you're performing incremental loading, your SSS package will cry and fail. Why it is cries and fail? Because so much of data it will be there and so much of data also available here. Comparing row by row, it is very problematic. Even though you implement lookup or SCD, the systems will die. Clear? So no need of incremental loading for the factor tables. It always a full loading, if not partial loading, but not incremental loading. Incremental loading is going to happen only to the dimension tables. Why? Because dimension table are small in size and the dimension tables are will have insert and update. But factor tables will have only inserts and fact tables are heavy. Clear? So that is the reason why the people are going to be performing. Again, OLTP database cannot have unlimited, hardware. They have 1 TB of hard disk. So every time you have to delete the data. Which table data you should delete? Not to the, the dimension table data. You have to delete only this data. Then only the size of the hard disk will get, will have a space in the hard disk. Clear? So every time, whenever you're buying the product or whenever you're booking a flight ticket or whenever you booking a train ticket, so you are registered with the client or the company. You keep on buying the products. You keep on, booking the train tickets, flight tickets. So later, once in a moon, once in a year, they will be deleting your ticket bookings because they don't delete your data from their portal. Portal has to recognize you, right? So only whenever you book a flight ticket, that data will get transferred from this table to this table and they delete the data here. So you may be seeing last 6 months of your flight bookings. Beyond that, they'll say you cannot see the data, or they may be maintaining 1 year data, or they may be maintaining 5 months data. Beyond that, you cannot see because they would have taken the data to the data warehousing. They would have deleted the data into the source system. Clear? If you go to Amazon.com and I wanted to see 5 years product which I bought, so that I wanted to see, Amazon will not show you that. Amazon may show 1 year data or last 6 months data. So in last 6 months, what are the products you bought? That data is being maintained here. Clear? So when the next month comes, one more month also will go. For when the September comes, when the September comes again, the September data also comes here. So people are going to be deleting this data from you. So every time you can see 6 months data here only, but you cannot get complete data. But whatever be the reason, if you need complete data, that is the case, Amazon people have to go to data warehousing and get complete data of the given customer from the data warehousing only, not from the OLTP machines. Clear? OLTP hard disk size is always a limited size, right? So they cannot increase this. If the 900 GB is over means I cannot buy a hard disk and keep it. If I buy it, I can buy it. It's not that they don't have money. The problem is that if they maintain more data, this website will become slow. This website will become very, very slow. They don't want to maintain, right? If you have so much of a luggage, what will happen? You cannot catch the flight easily, right? You have to, go, 2 hours before or 5 hours before to the airport because you have so much of luggage. Performance issues comes. Less luggage, travel is comfort, right? Less data, the websites are always faster. So to reduce the size, only one thing they need to have, they have to cut or remove the data from the transactional tables called as a fact tables. Remember, so always OLTP websites or OLTP databases data will get deleted once in a month, once in a 6 months, because they wanted to maintain the only same size always. Always it is going to be maintaining same size. Why? Because when the new month comes, 1 month data will get deleted. So they maintain always 6 months data. The size of the database will not increase. If it is increasing, definitely that is a burden to the the website will become slow. If the website is becoming slow, people will hate Amazon. People will say we don't buy Amazon, it is not at all responding properly, we hate Amazon, let us go to some other site. Clear? So performance issues also comes. OLTP always small in size, data warehouse is completely big in size. Clear? Yeah, any questions, guys? So what is a partial loading? What is incremental loading? Did you understand? Incremental loading means you have to use the destination table for the comparison purpose. A partial loading, in this we are not going to use any destination table. Go to the source and say last month data. This query we are going to be writing. This query we are going to be writing, get the last month data always. That's it. So even though you have a primary key or you don't have a foreign, you don't have a primary key, it doesn't matter. You can get the last month data, dump it into the destination tables. Clear? So to perform incremental loading, what is the prerequisite? Source tables must have a primary key. Clear? So that is the first point. And always you remember this point as well. Clear? Why not incremental loading to the factor tables? Because of these issues. Yeah. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, you can ask.